What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about the market recap for the day. We're going to talk about 5 or 6 of our favorite stocks that happen to be the biggest movers today in our portfolios, and we're just going to hop right into those here in a second. But before we do, we ask that you guys hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 200 subs by the end of January. We're at 140, and we cannot thank you guys enough for that. We really do appreciate it. But without further ado, man, let's just hop into this thing. So my biggest mover today was Plug. By far, up 10.5% today. So the U.S. Department of Energy came out and they basically made a huge announcement saying that they're going to try to promise and help grow the hydrogen industry. So that kind of pushed all of these hydrogen stocks a little bit higher. And Plug, man, it has just been on fire since, we've really even got into it. So that was probably my biggest mover in here. I'm hoping to see this thing, push that $70 mark, hopefully by the end of January, which I could easily see that happening, like easily. The second, we're just gonna rapid fire these. The second one, Nio, man, Nio was pre-market up like 4 or 5%, kind of tanked off a little bit right when the open, during the day towards the lunch hour, but then it kind of made its rebound. We did have the 350 power hour, man, never fails, which is fantastic. But they closed their bonds today. They closed their they had a $1.5 billion offering on Friday of their bonds. They closed those, so that pushed the stock even higher. I'm really hoping to see this thing at 75 by the end of January. I'm really pushing for it. The competition with them and Tesla, and Tesla's
especially now that Tesla's in China now, selling cars. So
so we'll see how that holds up for Nio. But this is by far my favorite stock that I own. Hold on to this puppy for a while. Very, very, very long time. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with those. I know there's a couple stocks in here that I'm not even in, and I know Chad's in, so I'm going to pass it over to Chad and see what he has to offer for today.
Yeah, so these ones weren't up. They were actually down for the day, but they still have been stocks that have just blown everything out of the water. So the first one's Chewy. It got a downgrade today. But I mean, if you look at the chart, it's just been going nuts. But it actually finished only negative 0.73%. So I think at the beginning of the day, it was like -3, -4, kept bouncing back and forth. So it made most of that up. But the other big one that was down is Fiverr. Fiverr, man, that thing, I've been in it for a little bit, and it's ridiculous the amount of gains that I've had from Fiverr in the short amount of time. But they were downgraded by the same company, and this one took a lot bigger of a hit. It is finished negative 10% for the day.
Which this actually provides a good buying opportunity, a little pullback.
I bought more today because I didn't have kind of my minimum investment that I like to put into everything. So I did buy more today.
Buy on the dip, man.
Right. So those are two of my favorite stocks. Even though they were down today, but that's just because they got downgraded. But
kind of real quick before you going on to Chewy real quick. I know that their CEO has been talking with GameStop, and I think they were just put on the board of GameStop. And I know that I'm pretty sure GameStop. Let me just look this up real quick. I'm pretty sure they were to the moon today too. Yeah, up another 10%, and I mean they were up probably a lot more than that. Clearly,
go back like 5 days or something. It's nuts.
It's just been like I mean, it just went from that $20 mark, dude, to straight 40. Like
it's 100%, and like
that was crazy when that was announced. But that's something to keep your eye on there because again, if you're into Chewy, I am in Chewy. I'm not in Fiverr, but with it being Chewy, and I'm really big on their CEO. With them getting into GameStop, man, I might watch that GameStop. I know. It's kind of one of those things where it's kind of like a dying industry because everything's becoming digital, with the Xbox and PlayStation, everything's digital. But maybe their CEO sees something that we don't. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah. But moving on to the next one, one that I've been in for a little bit too is ROKU. So it finished up 6.5% today, which is huge. But JP Morgan analysts started covering ROKU. So they weren't covering the stock at all before, and they actually gave it a price target of 475, and it's sitting at 434 right now. So that's some pretty big gains. Let's see real quick. I haven't even been in this one all that long, I debated for a long time getting into it, and when I should have, because by the time I actually pulled the trigger, it was up $100.
I know, dude. You keep telling me to pull the trigger
Yeah.
on. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to.
So I've been in it like less than a month, and I'm up 35%.
Right. That's monsters.
But I mean, I've been talking about getting into this one for like a year now. I just didn't actually do the research on it, so I didn't feel confident, so I never bought it. And then by the time I did buy it, it was up over $100 from, a year ago. So
right, you look back a year, dude. That thing was down at the 50. Well under the $100 mark for the last year, and
yeah,
now we're at the 400. So that's kind of unfortunate,
Right.
But
so I mean, I did get in it. I'm up really good in it for the little amount of time I've been in it. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on, because they've made a couple deals with HBO and Peacock. So
yep,
I'm sure there's going to be more to come. That's just going to open the doors for more
easily.
companies. But moving on to the next one is QualComm. I've been in this one for a little longer than any of these other stocks, and it's kind of one of those like slow growers. Like it's going to be a consistent winner pretty much.
Right.
You're not going to see crazy gains, but like it's going to be a steady gainer.
Well, right. You got 5G and stuff like that, and I know they're into 5G and stuff. So we'll see if this thing keeps going. But there is a note, right here that they got that price target of 190. So
yeah,
that's positive news there.
Yeah, and they actually announced a new mobile phone processor today. The Qualcomm Snapdragon 870, which I guess is 10% faster than the original 865. So that's all good news. And like you said, with 5G becoming a big thing, they're in the 5G industry too. So
right,
this is a good one to hold for the long term. Like I said, you're not going to get the crazy gains you might get with other ones, but I mean, in a month or two, or less than 2 months, I'm up like 20%. So,
right.
I mean, 20% in 2 months, that's pretty damn good still. So,
right. Yeah, and like we said, that's going to wrap up this video. We just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of top movers in our portfolios. Yeah, everything we buy is for the long haul. We try to keep it in for the long haul. But if you guys like this kind of content, hit that like, share, notification bell, hit all that good stuff. It really helps us out. And again, we're trying to hit that 200 subs by the end of January. So if you could help us out by hitting that sub button, we got like 90%. I think it's back up to 90% of the viewers we see aren't subbed yet. So if you're not subbed, hit it. Hit that bell for us. But yeah, that wraps up this video. We'll see you guys in the next one.